Welcome everyone to One Avenue News. As we journey together, let's journey for solution and not confusion. United we win, my people, art of love.
Mr. President, may I congratulate you on the I office, the I chair that you occupy. As you know, they say a busher for a couple of minutes is still a busher. Mr. President, I don't know why my friend, Senator Golden Campbell, have chosen to be so critical of the Member of Parliament for Northwest St. Andrew, the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clark. It is Dr. Nigel Clark who, in the Memorandum of Objects and Reasons, said the following: this bill seeks to amend the Appropriation Act 2014 to exclude all expenditure classified as statutory expenditure in accordance with sections 116(3) and 4 of the Constitution of Jamaica. So it is Nigel Clark, Dr. Nigel Clark, my friend, the Minister of Finance, who raised the issue of constitutionality. And then, shouting from the top of our voice, Senator Golden Campbell wants us on this side to be silent. Well, this senator is not going to be silent. I took an oath to uphold the Constitution of this country, and I intend so to do. Mr. President, Senator Golden Campbell must be the last person to lecture me or us on this side about the Constitution. I remember a debate in this chamber over state of emergency. And I said that the government shouldn't blame the opposition. They could go and renew the state of emergency. A former Attorney General sitting in this chamber, my friend Senator Bryan, said that my suggestion was unconstitutional. And guess who echoed it? Senator Golden Campbell. She, not the courts, declared that I was unconstitutional. Not the courts. And guess what, President? Guess what? The Cabinet of Jamaica, no doubt with the advice of the current Attorney General, renewed the SOE the day after it expired. And that's considered to be constitutional. So you were wrong. Senator Bryan was wrong. And I was correct. Well, you won't say it for me, so I will say it for myself. The reality is, they can't lecture me. Me who sat at John Maxwell's feet at JC and did civics in the 1960s. Using Lenny Ruddock's book, Civics for Young Jamaica. I understand the Constitution. I invite you to go read Lenny Ruddock's book, Civics for Young Jamaicans. So don't come and lecture me about Constitution. And don't lecture Nigel Clark either, because he, with the full authority of the Cabinet, wrote the memo of objects and
you can present your point without being so ungracious, you know.
President, I don't come here to be gracious or ungracious, no. I come here to speak truth to power.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Truth to power.
You know that there is nothing more gracious than the truth.
President, I leave my colleague Senator Scott Motley to nice it up for now. But as for me, I am going to give you the unvarnished truth. I'm not going to shout like Senator Golden. But the reality is, she said we shouldn't speak about the constitutionality. Mr. President, this Senate has been called today because of another unconstitutional bill that was passed by us. Passed by the House and by us. Another unconstitutional bill. I remember the vigor I put up against a NIDS bill. Certified as constitutional.
Senator Brown, you know that you're going to say that I'm troubling you, but remember I wasn't here. The appropriations bill was actually passed in the Senate here, so you all look on it and never see the mistake.
I wasn't here, sorry.
Oh.
I had an accident and I wasn't here.
Well, I know.
And I might not have seen it. But President.
Okay, all right, no problem.
You were here, you know.
No, I wasn't here.
My apology. I withdraw that. The JC boys weren't here. The JC boys weren't here. So the RS would have picked it up. Mr. President, another unconstitutional bill, like the NIDS, like the SOE, another unconstitutional act, like the resignation of senators. And there's another decision of the court to come next week, Friday, as to whether or not the retirement of certain public officers that was amended, the extension of the tenure of certain public officers, whether that meet the Constitution. It may or may not. But the point is, in a litigious society, that's a matter that has gone to the court. We await with bated breath the decision of the court, the Constitutional Court, which we are told will come next Friday. So, President, I am on record, whether I sat on that side or this side, to speak out against validation bills. Because those validation bills indicate that something was not right in how we treat with these matters. Something wrong when we have to come back and validate actions. One of the most recent validation, well, we didn't go by the validation route, but we amended the Road Traffic Act, was when the courts ruled that we were, as government, charging motorists more money than was allowed by law. That was challenged in the court. The court ruled that the government was acting illegally. The government scrambled. They decided to come with a validation bill. They called a meeting, special meeting of the House on a Friday. The House on a Friday. So you, Mr. President, had to adjourn your Senate meeting at 10 o'clock, facilitate the House meeting on that Friday, and then resume a meeting of the Senate on the same Friday. It's called Chaka Chaka government. To pass not a validation bill because of the confusion in government, but an amendment to the Road Traffic Act. So it's not the first time we're getting these blunders. It's not the first time we're getting these blunders. And so, this blunder, which moves to the level of the constitutional breach, is but another thing that the Ministry of Finance has gotten wrong. And Mr. President, there are a number of things in recent times that the Ministry of Finance has gotten wrong. Mr. President, my intervention is to try and call upon the ministry officials, call upon the minister, call upon public bodies to do right by the citizens of the country, to obey the rules of law. Mr. President, this blunder at finance by itself may appear to be transcription. But have there been other blunders? When a minister of government is sent a report from a regulatory agency, but that report can't be found in the ministry, hidden away, let me take away the hidden, subsequently found after the minister himself searched a number of files in cabinet, something is wrong with the ministry. When an important report, like the SSL report from FSC, Financial Services Commission, to the minister, couldn't be found, and Usain Bolt has lost billions. Mr. President, the census is the responsibility of the Ministry of Finance. That is anachronic, as Ezra Mill would say. That is anachronic. You're not counting the people you're supposed to count. So that's two things. Two other blunders in the Ministry of Finance. Mr. President, the Auditor General, in the long delayed report, delayed because presiding officer of Parliament didn't release it, said that the ministry, essentially that's what it's saying, the Ministry of Finance is presiding over a procurement policy that allow $400 million in taxpayers' money to be used to pay rent for an occupied building. That's a third blunder. In addition to this one, something is wrong in the Ministry of Finance. Mr. President, when the Auditor General says what's happening at the FSC, and the Gleaner report call it free fall, money going left, right, and center at FSC, Ministry of Finance responsible for that ministry. Something is wrong with the Ministry of Finance. Senator Gill, when public sector workers' increments is declared to be taken away, but for the fight of people like you and the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Union, for it to be restored, something is wrong in the Ministry of Finance. Mr. President, when we decide to remove GCT from imported goods, raw food, without consulting our farmers and other stakeholders, something is wrong in the Ministry of Finance. When the Ministry of Finance recommend a reduction in JUTC fares because it would impact inflation, but it didn't to the extent so declare, something is wrong in the Ministry of Finance. Mr. President, when the Minister of Finance promised to have FBI investigate SSL, and we get no report from FBI, something is wrong in the Ministry of Finance. What has happened to that FBI report? And when we're told that additional arrests at SSL are imminent, but doesn't take place, something is wrong. Something is wrong. So it's not just transcription error. Structurally, fundamentally, something is wrong at the ministry. All of these things I just outlined has happened under the Minister, Nigel Clark. All of these things. Something wrong. And as a senator, it's my duty to bring it to this parliament, bring it to the country, that all is not well. Too many errors, too many blunders, and many of them are very costly. You see, Minister, when we have to pay back traffic ticket money, that means the beds that we so surely need in the hospitals, not available. Patient then told, no bed available. Go home. Or you might buy a cardboard and sleep in the corridor at Cornwall Regional. $500 for the cardboard? So, Mr. President, something is wrong at the ministry. For the first time, such an error takes place in 62 years of independence. Minister, I don't want it to happen again. So I'm bringing to you that this is not just a transcription issue. It's a fundamentally constitutional issue. And it's not just at Ministry of Finance. How can the Attorney General certify that the appropriation bill was constitutional when obviously it wasn't? Was there a lacking in due diligence by those who are charged under the Constitution to certify that bills coming from the Parliament are proper? You know, Mr. President, that's a dangerous thing. Because the next thing you will hear is that a government department acts contrary to the law, but the Attorney General Office certifies it. And Senator Brian, you know I do my research. There's a particular matter, Mr. President, that a government agency acted wrongfully, unlawfully on. And the Attorney General's chambers has told that agency, who acted contrary to the law, that they have no legal or moral, listen up, no legal or moral duty to correct it. Let me say it. I do not think you will agree, Senator Brian, that a moral issue, the morality of a decision, is a legal issue. So to say they have no legal or moral duty to make the changes and to conform with the law of the country tells me that the Attorney General of Chamber, which is capable of making errors, you leave me alone to this. This is not the SOE in which you was wrong. You know, Attorney General Carl Rattray once wrote a directive to the Ministry of Labour on a matter of industrial relations. And I wrote back to the ministry saying that the Attorney General's views was really politics dressed up in legal brief. To Carl Rattray's respect, he didn't pursue his opinion. And the courts every day has shown that opinions of Attorney Generals are not infallible. Oftentimes it is. Oftentimes it is. And so, Mr. President, I'm not surprised that the opinions of the Attorney General is not being shared widely on a matter relating to reports coming to the Parliament. Maybe there's a lack of confidence in the Attorney General chambers. And that is why this morning I asked, has there been an offer of resignation? Because for the Attorney General to have certified the constitutionality of what former Senator Clark and now Member of Parliament and Minister is saying is not constitutional, that raises a serious issue. I dare say, when my friend Senator Braham was AG, such a rookie error could never have been made. Don't contradict me. Don't contradict me. You would never make such a rookie. You would never make such a rookie thing. When it comes to you, you're going to look over the bill and satisfy yourself. And no. It's not 1,000 pages. It's about 2 or 3 pages. The appropriation bill is not the big yellow book. It's something look like this. So don't give me about how much pages. It is this. This is what we pass. All them talk about in the budget and red card. It is this that is important. No man, the red card is for the government. You see, Mr. President, this blunder, this so-called transcription blunder, is akin to a football game in which a player on the goal line uses his hands to stop the ball from going into the goal. Senator Fitzhenry will tell you, VAR or no VAR, that is an automatic red card. That's an automatic red card. And as a Manchester United fan, you know we benefit from that. And so, Liverpool in defense, they get 3 yesterday. Mr. President, when we're talking about a blunder like this, I've outlined that this is not the first blunder. There's a serial set of blunders under this minister. A serial set of blunders under this minister. I've pointed out that the opinion of the Attorney General doesn't seem to be getting the respect that AG's report got when a certain senator was AG. And it raises the issue whether the AG has the confidence of the government.
You said about 4 times, you know. But I wanted to
repetition is the mother of knowledge.
I wanted
and I want the country to understand.
I wanted to say something to you.
You're going to interrupt me? Let me finish
Senator
now.
Hill, do not interrupt me.
Let me finish now.
I just want to say something. Hold on a little bit. You were absent for a while from the Senate. You don't have to make up the absence in a one day now. You can stretch it out.
Mr. President.
You can stretch it out, declare.
Mr. President, you spoke about being ungracious earlier. Physician, take your own medicine. Physician, take your own medicine.
No, but when I say ungracious, I mean you're ungracious to a female. You and I can be ungracious to you.
President, I just yield back my extra minutes earlier. And I am not yielding anymore here. I'm simply using up the time allotted to me to say, does the Attorney General retain the confidence of the government of Jamaica? Yes, important, because I don't get no answer yet. And the people of Jamaica want answer to it. And I want answer. So because people are trying to make this as a transcription issue. For me, it's about conformity with the Constitution, as outlined by the minister. And if we are getting opinions that are not consistent with the Constitution, something wrong. If we are getting blunders after blunders out of the Ministry of Finance, something wrong. And you know what is wrong, Mr. President? As I take my seat, we have the wrong government. Time come. Time come. And the people of Jamaica, in the recent local government election, by 52%, as indicated, time come for this wrong government to go. May it please you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Brown. And if you thought that my comment about you going on a bit was ungracious, it really wasn't meant to be.
You and I come a far way.
Very far.
So I understand. I understand what you're doing.
When somebody said that you played on the football team and somebody else over there said that's not true, I can verify that you did not play on the Manning Cup football team.
No, you can't verify that. You can't verify that. I have the pictures and the minutes on the field at stadium to prove. What you can say is that when I played, I was so much smaller than I am today that you might not have recognized it was me.
Thank you, Senator Brown.
Closing out for now, this is One Avenue News. Avenue for your news, views, reviews, and much more. New spot on the block where we chat. Looking forward to meet you in the comment section. So flick the subscription button